Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we have another dev talk video. So the devs are speaking on raid screens, weapon strength, party wages, and profits. So I also have a lot of dev videos on my channel, so if you do like this type of content, I have two types of videos that I do. One where it's a long thread discussion, where I discuss a specific thread that developers, talked about recently. Or we have videos like this one, which are shorter, but they go over some key points that the devs talk about, or key replies that the devs do on the forums. We talk about them, we explain them, and we keep it going. So if you do like this type of content and you want more of it, there's plenty on my channel. I do one of these almost daily, so go check it out. Also, link to the official forums from Bannerlord will be down below. That's pretty much where I get most of these replies and statements from. So if you do want to check it out for yourself, or if you want to register and join the conversation, that link will be down below as well. And like always, I have a script. Everything I say, all links, they will all be down below. You could either read it later or you can translate, whatever you need. So here we go. First, we have a player making a thread about successful raid screens. Player states that the current screen is blank and it would be nice to see all the items looted on the screen. The player provided two examples on how the screen could look in the future. One with all the items shown one by one, pretty much how, like in the order that you got them as you were raiding the village. And the second one with the picture, with the item picture followed by a count. Like, let's say you got some grain, maybe times 21 because you got 21 grain there. And the next item that you got, and then you got a times and then a number next to it as well. The devs reply and ask if on average, if the loot is very varied and numerous for the player, pretty much like the example shows, which you just saw the example where the player showed a lot of different items. The devs state that on average they get 1 to 2 types of items from a raid, and that the first example where items are showcased one by one would feel more like an accomplishment. Overall, the devs agree that loot should be shown on this screen, and this thread is noted. So in my opinion, this is a great idea, and I think it should not be that hard to put into the game. Hopefully the devs do add it, since the devs have previously added other requested UI changes, and I think this will be a very, very good change in my opinion. Second, we have a player making a thread about weapon strength and damage comparisons. Player states that weapons in your inventory that are better than the weapon you have equipped should have a shading or a different color or a symbol to show the player which weapon is better. The player states this can be similar to how trading is done, with the names being different colors to specify a profit or a loss. The devs respond and they state that the problem is that there's no true damage or damage over time value in the game. Therefore, there's no single value to compare all weapons on, unless the weapon is, the same class and has overall better stats in every single category. So, there's very different variety types of weapons for different situations. Also, every weapon has very different stats, such as length, that can't really be calculated, because length is good in some situations and length is not that good in other situations. And also there's different types of weapons, so it's kind of a hard thing to calculate overall. The player then responds back and asks if this can be done for cases where everything about a weapon is better than another. So in that same case, let's say you have a one-handed sword, has the same length, but one has superior damage, swing speed, this, and all the other ones, right? Can they do it in that case? The devs respond and state yes, that this is possible, and that the devs will talk about it, but there's no promises. Devs state that this would require each weapon to compare to each other, to compare to every other weapon, and also keep up with the constant changing of weapons that a player will do during a playthrough. So pretty much the devs would have to go through every single weapon and then compare it to every single other weapon, and then go through every other single weapon and compare it to every... It might sound simple, but at the same time, it's a lot more complex, and I kind of get where the devs are coming from. And if they're just going to do it for, let's say, for a couple different items, I don't think... It's either they go hard and they get it all done, or, just doing it halfway, I don't know if that's even worth it, in my opinion. And but here's what I think. I think this would be a perfect opportunity for a mod creator to make a good mod that would be downloaded by a lot of players. Since it would be a mod and not officially in the game, you can specify things like, oh, this one's better, but but the length is this and that, or this one's better, but In this other situation, this would be stuff like that, right? But I think this would be a good mod if someone decided to make it and put the time in, and I think it would be very well appreciated. Third, we have a player asking the devs why it costs so much to start a party with their brother, stating that a party with only their brother and no other troops costs 2,000 dinars the first day. A dev responds and states that he is not a fan of the current system in terms of party wages, but here is the breakdown on how it works. So it's pretty much party expenses is what the player pays, is 5,000 dinars minus party leader's money or money supply. So if the leader has less than 5,000 dinars at the end of the day, you pay the difference to get them back to 5,000. So the player's brother in this situation started with 3,000, so the player had to pay his brother 2,000 to get him to that 5,000 dinars threshold. Devs state that this is why there's sometimes a huge wage cost, because some days parties buy a lot of food and sometimes they buy a lot of expensive food when cheap food is not, provided at that town or wherever they buy it from. And also he states that parties, like companion parties and parties like that, they're programmed to buy 80% grain or fish in terms of food supply and the rest other types of food. So in my opinion, this is a good explanation and clears up party wages for me. I didn't know about the 5,000 threshold, so hopefully this helps other players as well. Fourth, we have a player replying to the past dev response about party wages and asks how the wages normalize and eventually, how do you get a profit. So the same dev states that anything under 5,000, the player pays the difference. Then after the party is successful with battles and looting and stuff like that, the leader will pay the party wages with his own profits. If the overall dinars of a party, if the overall dinars that a leader has goes over 10,000, the player gets all the money above the $10,000 mark or 10,000 dinar mark. So here's an example. So if a party has 6 to 7K, right? They will pay their own wages, but they will keep the rest because it's not over 10K. Once a party, let's say, reaches 12K after paying their wages, they will pay the player the 2K on top and keep the 10K until next time, right? So anything over 10K, they will pay the player whatever's on top. Anything under 5K, the player has to pay them to get them back to 5K. Any number in between, in between there, they will pay their own wages. And also if they have above 10K, they will pay their own wages as well. So in my opinion, it's an alright system. Hopefully in the future we get like more in-depth features, like asking companions for extra dinars when a player needs it, or to lower the 5K requirement to something like 2 to 3K or stuff of that nature, but this can also be done with mods, so we'll see how that goes. But that's pretty much all the statements and replies for now. If anything new comes up, I will make a video and I will keep you guys informed. Lastly, I'm going to end this video in the same way in most of my update and dev talk videos. I want to thank the developers for staying active and bringing good changes. We've had a lot of hot fixes, we had a lot of dev replies, and a lot of things like dev info overall about different parts of the game. So I think it's very good. I think yeah, just overall I think it's very, very not interactive, but kind of like it opens up a lot of things, right? They showed different code in the game. They showed how different stuff works, like this one, like how party wages work, and I do appreciate it, and hopefully other people appreciate it as well. But hopefully this video was informative. Ask me any questions, and like always, stay safe.